All right, guys. Want to welcome everyone to the live show. Wanted to see how everyone's doing out there. As always, if you have any questions or comments, if you want me to see them, please put them all capital letters. That way we can find them pretty cool. Find it and see it. We're going to be taking questions and just pretty well just hanging out here. It's a chance and an opportunity to get to know your YouTube personalities out there. And so, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring in the one, the only, Nor-Cal Dave. So, Dave, I want to thank you for coming on with us, and just want to kind of get to know you a little bit better out there. From what they're telling me, that you're not coming through at all. I'm going to send.
Let me see if
Yeah, screw it and just do it that way. Can you guys hear him now?
breaker.
Saying we're good.
Everybody, what's happening? Hey, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, go subscribe to Nor-Cal Refrigeration. Help a brother out.
For real.
All right, kind of better. Cool.
So
yeah,
you might.
I got the day job at the college, but I can't film up there. It's against the rules there. But I work on crazy stuff at the day job. We got over 350 boilers, giant chillers, absorbers, all the scientific equipment, you name it, we have to fix it. We take care of all the heating water pipes. So I do a lot of plumbing. Crazy stuff, man.
Yeah. It's too bad you can't record it. I mean, like I've talked before, still low, but much better. We can hear him now. Okay, I've got him cranked as high as I can go. I've even got my gain up for that channel. So,
Felipe said I had a restriction on my cap tubes. Yeah, my cap tubes were restricted, but I put some Subco 88 in there. Now you can hear me.
Yeah, there's one from Sanchez. There, Dave. Do you work on the chillers?
Yeah, we got to work on the chillers. We don't get super duper into them, but enough to be dangerous with them. If it has a major breakdown, we'll bring Johnson Controls in or Carrier. We got every brand of chiller on campus you could think of. We even have the McQuays with the maglev motors. Those are pretty neat. Those are all 134A, but we also have absorbers too. We got a bunch of York absorbers, so you're getting free air conditioning. We have a turbine where we create our own electricity on campus. So we take all the heat from the turbine to heat water. We heat the campus loop, and we take that hot water to the absorbers to make free air conditioning for the science buildings.
Wow, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it's neat stuff. It's like its own city up there. When that place is going full bore, there's 20,000 students and about 20,000 workers. So
wow,
it's going to be real interesting to see if they're going to let the students back up there in September. We're going to have to, that's going to be something to keep an eye on.
Wow, that's really cool. How many service guys do you guys have?
We have 8 HVAC guys. I got 5 electricians, 5 plumbers. We got 3 BMS workers, but there's 2 openings. There's short 2. We're short 2 people in the HVAC shop. So we were having a hard time hiring, but after this thing, I told my boss to scrap everyone he had in the queue and start over because you'll probably get some good mechanics applying now.
That would be great. I know we've had a lot of hard times trying to find people that know much of anything, and it don't matter what we offer to pay and stuff. It seems like you're constantly looking and just can't find anyone.
Oh yeah, it's well, until this COVID thing hit, it was hard to find workers, man.
Yeah. Felipe asked me about what supply house I buy my stuff from. We've got a couple local ones. Basically, one's called Allied Supply. They're in pretty much all the big cities. Toledo, Dayton, Lima, Cincinnati, Columbus. That's for our refrigeration stuff. And then we also buy stuff from United Refrigeration, but that's out of town, and a few other ones. Yeah, Dave's pushing the book there. They didn't hear anything you said about the book there as far as AC Service Tech. I mean, he's got videos and stuff.
I scored the AC Service Tech, the refrigeration charging and service procedures for air conditioning while we were slow. And I got to tell you, Craig's done a really good job on this. Good refresher. If you guys are new, out there and you're doing residential HVAC, this is a good read, man. That's a good setup. I might have a set to be given away, so stay tuned to my channel. I'll probably have one whole complete set to do a giveaway, but I want to give it away to someone that's only been in the trade for like 3 years or less. But we'll get to that on my channel another day.
And we'll put a link to Dave's channel. I mean, I'm sure everyone out there that's watching me definitely probably has Dave. I mean, he's got 16,000 subscribers, and I'm only around the 5,000 mark. So, I mean, we'll put it down there just in by case if some people haven't seen him. That way you can get a link over to it.
Ray ordered his books today. Good job, Ray. You're going to enjoy that stuff. Nate's got that book. Attaboy, Nate. Nor-Cal Dave's got the book. I still have to do a video to see how many questions I missed on the exam. There's a workbook in there. And I'm not going to lie. I can't remember everything. It's kind of fun to go back and do stuff to see how much stuff you forget over the years. Hey, Rick, let me ask you this question. So we're always working on different equipment every day, and every manufacturer's got different stuff. How hard do you find it remembering each brand's sequences of operations, how their stuff works? I mean, as I get older, I'm having a hard time remembering everything. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. I mean, when I first started, I wanted to know everything you could possibly know. And a couple of the guys were like, oh, you can't learn it all. And I'm like, oh yeah, I can do it. And the more as time goes along, no, because I mean, for me, I'm doing ice cream. I'm the only guy doing that now. We had two of us doing it for a while. He quit recently. So I'm the only one doing the ice cream. That's its own little thing. I'm the majority doing all the generators. That in itself's a pain in the hind end because it's, I'm not doing near as many as I used to do. Whereas, before I knew the numbers of the wires and all that. So, I'm having to go back through and read the book on that. Then I may be working on that stuff. Next thing you know, I might be on a residential and they may come out with something new. So, I mean, basically it sucks. And then not to mention the eyesight. I mean, I've kind of, had corrective surgery long ago, but as I'll be 45 in May. So the small print is getting to be a pain in the butt. And some of these schematics are really tiny. So it's now becoming an issue. I'm not sure who this one was directed towards, but the one I have on the screen, how old were you when you first started? How old was you, Dave?
I got started 1987, so I was 19.
And that's the exact same.
19. Dude, I was so dangerous when I started. I still remember this. So they put us on installs because they needed bodies in the trucks. And like, hey, and I thought I was a millionaire, dude. 1987, I was making $10 an hour, dude. Think about that. 1987, yeah. $10 an hour. Probably making more than my parents, just starting out green. And this guy that was like the head of the install crew, his name was Dwayne. I still remember Dwayne. Good dude. He goes, hey, go to the truck and get me a 1/2-inch union. So by the time he makes it out to the truck waiting for me, he goes, you don't know what you're looking for, do you? And I was like, no. I didn't even know what a 1/2-inch union was, dude, in 1987. And I was making $10 an hour, dude. It was epic.
I started in 1995. I was 19, and I started at $6.50 an hour. And we just jumped everything in class, R to W or whatever. We never put no thermostats on. That's how great my school was. And I had no clue how to put T87 on. So, I mean, back in the day, that was the main thermostat. And then the Honeywell digital one, the 60, gosh, I forgot the name of it. That was just coming out. So digital wasn't even popular. So yeah, that's nuts. Curious was saying, would you recommend that book for commercial service guys? I guess it really depend, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to have knowledge, right? You never know what you're going to work on. This is just the only book I have here is the refrigeration charging and service procedures for air conditioning. So, I mean, it would apply, it's going to go over subcooling and superheat procedures. Can't hurt for a read. Just depends how well you're doing on money. I wouldn't want you to go spend money on stuff if money's tight. You know what I'm saying? But hey, so when I started in 87, those guys were all in the Refrigeration Service Engineer Society. So we had to go to class like 2 days a week because we did the CM study course to become certified members. It's like you get a pay raise at the shop, dude. The boss was all into it. These were some old timers, and they were super good. We actually got our EPA cards before it was mandatory, and we got grandfathered in. So my EPA card was grandfathered in because we did it before it was mandatory through Refrigeration Service Engineers Society. It was really cool. But I still have the card. They sent me a new card because it wears out. So they still have us on file, and they still send the cards out and the whole deal.
That's who my EPA certification's through, is RSES.
Yep.
I never joined or nothing. I thought about it because Chris always pushes it pretty big time and stuff, but I don't even know if we have a local chapter here or not. I have no idea.
Ours kind of fell away, and then the unions it's so big out here in the Bay Area. So, the union kind of takes place of that. But back in the day, it was going strong out here. It was good. Great to get together, once a month and go over stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. T8700. I think maybe that was it. 8700.
The gold one with all the buttons. Is that the one you're talking about?
And the display always faded out.
Always.
Yeah. I think back in the day that was $230 is what we sold that for. I think cost was 150 something.
Beaver Hunter, what's up? That guy's his screen name's Beaver Hunt. I love it.
Where's he at? I didn't see that one.
He's hunting beaver.
There ain't nothing wrong with little beaver. Where did you get that third? Where is? I found it on eBay. You're looking at about $103 to $115 used, brand new. $138 to $180 brand new for that Dick Weirs. Like I said, I just breezed through it some. I found a download copy online, and basically, yeah, I'm dirty. I was going to buy the third version from this funky site that was real questionable whether I'd get my money back or even get the product, and they were doing it for $18. You can buy a legitimate digital copy for $38, but I want to be able to hold it in my hand. I have a hard time following along when it's on the book or on the computer or whatever. So yeah, that's where I found that one at.
Shannon got his EPA card from a guy named Wong in the back of a Chinese restaurant. Don't tell anybody.
You even need those anymore?
I think I got herpes from Wong at the back of the Chinese restaurant.
The happy ending.
Happy ending, I guess. Don't need no lubrication, just scratch a scab off.
Hey, Weaver Maintenance, yeah. So Jim Pettinato had a video about the Subco 88 oil. I used to watch all his videos, and I never really used it before until I watched his videos, and I've been using it since, and it does. It'll keep the systems from plugging up. It'll unplug some cap tubes a little bit, depending on how plugged up the cap tube is. But yeah, I've been putting them in small refrigeration systems for sure.
Will it work on that Copeland Fanango that they had, where they had the anti-rust inhibitor and the compressors? I have a bunch of TXVs that plugged up, and
yeah, I think everybody did. No, I don't think so, man. I think a lot of that you ended up changing out the TXV in the long run.
Yeah,
you wanted to save yourself some headaches. I think a few guys had luck with putting the stuff in there to try and clean the valves out.
That's what my boss said. He don't want no magic cures. He said, change dang thing. We ain't going back twice. So that's kind of what...
A lot of people went back twice, 3 times.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of my whole thing. And luckily, I've pretty well changed them all out that I've had. It was more with the... they said Carrier on them, but it was Climate Master. And that was the geothermals. I had a crap load of them. Yeah, let's see here. Any questions?
I'm still having issues with all the. I'm calling it Emerson now. The little Copeland condensing units for the refrigeration.
Yep.
The one me and Frank put in that video I had, where me and Frank we did that little walk-in box at the bar. That one didn't come with any nitrogen in it either, and I don't even think they're using nitrogen anymore. I think they have an air compressor with an air dryer at the factory. And I think a lot of times it'll have moisture in it too, because it'll take forever to pull vacuums down on those new little condensing units from Copeland or Emerson. And it'll say there's a sticker on there that says charged with dry air.
Dry air, huh?
Yeah, give me a break. Air 70% moisture. They used to put nitrogen in those systems.
That's ridiculous.
It's pretty bad, man.
Cutting corners.
Yeah, Felipe, Copeland sucks, dude. I need to start buying from United and start buying Tecumseh. That's what I need to do. I
don't know. Copeland's made right about 45 minutes from my house. down in Sydney, Ohio, or Piqua, I should say, Piqua, Ohio. And I mean, I've been through the testing lab and seen how, you know, they test it and run the scrolls through hell and back and stuff. But I was gonna shoot a video every time I go by it to kind of show it's right off Interstate 75 or whatever. But I mean, around here, Copeland's kind of king. The Tecumseh stuff's all right, but I mean, I can get better support out of the Copeland stuff. Their app's pretty good. Thoughts on the Subco Megger? Do you got one of those Subcos?
Yeah, it works just fine.
Have you ever compared it to like a Fluke or anything like that to see how accurate it is?
I never purchased the Fluke Megger. The Subco, for what we do, the price is right in the wheelhouse for the type of work. You know, you get into that Fluke stuff, that's more for like scientific testing. So like at my day job, it's all Fluke meters because I don't have to buy the tools at my day job. They buy all the tools.
Yeah.
So I don't even know. I wonder if I could do a van tour of my day job van and all the tools. Because, you know, every wrench I got on that van is ginormous, dude. Everything's huge. It's all big guy stuff. And, and all
big boys.
Yeah, all my stuff's Fluke, man. It's all Fluke meters.
They provide all your tools?
They buy everything up there, dude. You're not allowed to have your own stuff. So I can order any tool I want working there, but I keep it legit, you know. I don't go overboard, and I probably haven't ordered any tools up there in probably 4 years.
Really? So you have a van now. Do you go on call ever for what you do at the college?
24/7. It's all honor system. So out of the 8 guys, whoever responds takes the call out. And it's awesome up there. You get 4 hours minimum.
Really?
Yep.
Of course, each call probably takes about that to do, or no?
No, man. Most of it's BMS issues are just resetting stuff. The whole, I can look at the whole campus from my smartphone right now.
And what are they using?
A lot of problems with the JACEs. So you'll get a power outage and the JACEs will trip and then the units won't come on. So you'll get a command mismatch on the status. It'll have an on command, but say the exhaust fan's off. And we have these giant exhaust fans for fume hoods for the science buildings. Well, that's a life safety issue. You have to go respond to that right now. That has to be running right now. You go out there and the JACE will be tripped. You power it down, power it back up, and you'll reestablish communications. And I'm telling you, man, the BMS is where the future, man. Any of you guys chiming in or watching tonight, you want your next career, that's a good one to have. Building management, all that stuff, EMS, BMS, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, energy management system or whatever.
Especially if you get into if you do the programming on it too, and you already have an HVAC background, super, super high demand.
So yeah, my operator there, dispatch woman there. As far as the MSDS book. Yeah, Chris was pulling up the MSDS book, which is kind of like, not sure where it was at, but the main ingredient he was saying there was the kerosene. So I don't know where it's at now, but yeah.
I'm going to answer Family Sanchez's question. What type of controls do you guys have? We're using the tritium. So it's Niagara, and it's the tritium system. And that's what the campus is mostly running on right now. And it's pretty neat stuff.
So is that like Windows driven, or do you have to log into a proprietary program, or how's that work?
It's Windows driven.
So you don't have to have no special app. You can get it from anything, your phone, computer, whatever.
I have like a login, like a HTTP login, but it's all the numbers like this number, period, this number, period.
You can trust us. You go ahead and here, we'll just log in real quick.
Not a chance.
100 chillers just went down. What the hell?
You go straight to jail on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. Trying to find, any other questions in here, by all means, guys. I mean, we got the legend here. I mean, this is your chance to ask any question. I mean, he said nothing's off the table. So, I mean, what's in his refrigerator?
Danny L asked me about my Speedo pick. Yeah, when I went to Texas, I posted up a pic for those guys. There's a couple other ones lurking on the internet too out there. Yeah, that was fun times. We broke the Guinness Book of World Records for the longest parade of Harley-Davidson motorcycles in Paris, Texas in October.
That was a good video. I remember watching that.
That was a good time. That guy raised $56,000 for motorcycle missions, which is this lady that does motorcycle builds for veterans and first responders that suffer from PTSD. And they donated all that money to her foundation. So they're bringing men and women in, and for their relief, they're having them build motorcycles for their PTSD. Plus, they get to learn how to weld, paint, the whole deal. It's really cool.
So they're giving them jobs.
Yeah, she was in, her name is Crystal Hess. If you guys go on Instagram, you want to follow it. It's Motorcycle Missions. Really, really nice people.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. Somebody to actually go out of their way for that. It's cool.
Dave,
looks like Andrew.
Have you ever been ripped up on corals when surfing? Yes, absolutely. Over the falls, into the rocks. Absolutely, yes. And then, you got to then your buddy's got to pee on you so you don't get infected. No, it's true story for reals. Your buddy's got to take a whiz on all your rash, your coral rash.
Well, it is sterile. Yep, definitely. So,
Dave, between both, here's a question from Curious HVAC Guy. Dave, between both of your jobs, how many hours do you work a week? Well, it's 40 hours a week at the day job plus call outs, which could vary. And then usually before the shutdowns and things got slow, I was honestly averaging about 3 to 4 calls a day for my business. It's been booming for the last 2 years. I can get through the calls pretty quick. It's if I ever showed you guys how fast I can get through service calls, you guys would probably call me a hack. But I can get through them pretty quick. So I'll start about 3:30 when I get off work, 3:30, 4 o'clock. And I can get home anywhere between 7 or 10 at night.
Wow, dude, that's hauling ass. People keep asking me about doing the van tour. I've thought about it. I need a good friend who would pee on me. Hey, anybody out there that needs somebody, curious there? He's looking for someone to pee on him. I usually piss people off more than getting peed on. So
Shannon wants to know who would win, me or Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris would probably flick me and I'd cry. So Chuck Norris is going to win that one.
Nice. We got Edward there. He likes the Copeland compressors better than the Tecumseh. So yeah, it's all personal opinion, and it really depends on. I think what you see the most. I think any more nowadays, it's whatever you're most comfortable with. Far as the van tour, I mean, my van's kind of a miss. There's not. I mean, what I'd be doing is probably showing you my tools more than I'd be showing the van parts. But I mean. I like on the last video when I was getting things out of the back of it, you kind of seen some of it, but we don't stock a whole lot on our van. I'm used to having sub pumps and generator parts and every control board for every furnace and all that. And where I'm at now, I got every refrigerant, pressure control and stuff like that. And that's about it. I mean, it's pretty bare on there, which I've, had some people say that that's kind of normal. For me, it's kind of unusual. Like, today I needed a different motor and I just had to use an undersized motor, even though it was like 0.3 amps over, because I needed to make it run. It was either that or drill it out and lubricate the bearings and make it run. I had a call today. I'm on call. So, I mean, hopefully I don't get anything. It's been pretty slow. I think we had one grocery store call came in. It was reset by the computer. And other than that, I had one call today. And I think that's about it for my calls. But for the most part, I think I only lost a couple hours this week, which, this is the biggest thing out there, guys. I mean, when you're out there doing, the no cooling or the no heat or no whatever, there's nothing wrong with looking around to see if there's anything else you can be of use to, far as, hey, their sub pump has got some issues, or hey, this wiring over here looks frayed, or these lines look like they're etched out or whatever. I mean, you're kind of responsible for trying to find other issues. I mean, we're not saying screw them and sell them something they don't need, but I mean, definitely look around and create your own work. Looks like Chris is asking, do people recognize you in supply houses from your videos?
Yep, absolutely. We laugh and have a good time. And so I use RSD as my main supply house because I probably told you guys this story. There used to be this old guy when I started that worked in there. His name was Howard, and that guy worked in there till he was 84 years old till he passed away. So Howard and Bernie surfs. It was the two guys in there forever. Bernie's still there working. So I always buy from RSD, and then they make deliveries at the university because we buy a lot of stuff from the university too. And so the delivery guy will go, "Hey, I saw your new video, da 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 da," and they love the funny songs, man. They crack up on all my comedy songs. 6 feet, Rick, 6 feet.
Oh, they get mad, do they?
No, that was my funniest song, the 6 feet MFer song. That was a good one, dude.
Yeah. Oh, I was thinking about something when you told me on the phone that one day, and I'll tell you about it later. But yeah, I was like, maybe he was just playing games with me when he told me that. I'm like, yeah, whatever, but you never know. Had one person. So how, you guys are basically on call, just whoever's dumb enough to answer the call, and Dave went on the blank side. Far as me on call, I'm on a total of about every fourth week to fifth week I'm on call, which ain't bad. Dave, it's really quiet, so I don't know are you still there? Dave? Lost your audio. No audio, Dave. Tried to make it work. This is why you don't own an Apple. I hate Apple. But yeah, every fourth week to fifth week we're on call usually. And then it's for 7 days. We start usually on a Monday and it goes till Monday morning. So basically, it's not too bad. Nice. HVACR videos. I recognize you on the short bus in the back parking lot. Makes you feel good. Is he coming back in there? Return? Come on, Dave. I know you want to come back. There he is. There he is. You back this time?
Yeah, my phone keeps blowing up. There's no getting away from it.
Yeah. Well, Dave, if people would like support your channel a little bit better, you could afford to have like a dedicated computer or, since you donate all your money to the poor, you could at least have a dedicated computer or something. So do you know an HVAC service technician in need? We have one for you. His name's Dave for just $14.
I would make a lot more money on YouTube if I used a computer instead of my phone. Let me tell you, I don't make very much money on YouTube because I do it all on my phone. I film, edit, and post right from the telephone. But hey, talking about the van, check this out, dude. So poor little Nor-Cal Refrigeration has a more stocked out van than most of the big companies in town. My van's rocking, bro.
For your own personal van?
Yeah, the Vangina slays out there, dude. I got motors, parts galore. When I show up, I'm fixing it today. I'm not coming back.
Yeah, that was always been my feeling too. It's like to have to go open up a supply house, pay the money and stuff. It just seems kind of stupid. But unfortunately, I can't buy what I want to buy, and it's just I don't know. It is what it is. I get paid to go back either way. Felipe, he wants to know if he can borrow your purple suit, man.
Yeah, Felipe. When I come to SoCal, I'll let you borrow it.
You look like the pimp daddy there, man. It was pretty cool.
Oh, that thing's done all kinds of stupid stuff. That purple suit. It's had some. It goes a lot of places. And then I got the Speedos with the rocket pops on them that goes underneath it. Rocket pop Speedos.
I don't even want to know. It'd be definitely interesting to say the least.
Everyone likes the rocket pops. Those were good popsicles.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the rainbow things.
Yeah, they're red, white, blue, bro. They're all American.
God only knows they probably sent those things out of the freaking country too. It's hard to say.
Hey, Johnny Fair wants to know. Johnny Fair wants to know what made you decide to start an HVAC channel, and would you recommend it to other people?
Go ahead. You were first.
When
did you start your YouTube channel?
God, 2010, but it wasn't for refrigeration back then. It was just, motorcycles and goofing off and having fun. So 2010, but nothing was monetized. And then, so me and my coworker, Jason, at the college, we stumbled across Fritz Rochester's videos, but the guy was cooking all this crazy food. It wasn't even for the HVAC. We're like, how the hell can people eat like this, dude? We're from California, dude. I never seen no greasy giant sandwich with everything on it and taters and all this other crap on the side. And dude, we watched that guy's videos for the cooking, and then we were cracking up, and I was going, he had some good HVAC stuff on there. And then I go, you know what, dude, I might start filming some work, film a little work and get it out there. And then I found Steve Labs' channel, and then they got into their little lovers quarrel where they were having the big battle on there. And I was like, this is entertaining as hell. I go, I'm gonna throw some videos up. And then I started making videos on there.
My very first one was me wrecking my four-wheeler down a hill down in Kentucky. And so if you search for Can-Am flips and rolls down mountain, you'll find me, and I had my GoPro camera strapped on my helmet, and you'll watch me do a few flips and then watch about $13,000 four-wheeler do a barrel roll down a hill and roll it into a small little ball. And then basically at that point, I ended up going to a side-by-side, one of the Razor XP 900s. So that's what I ride now whenever we finally go out and do it. But as far as the video stuff for me, I mean, my channel started in 07, I think, or something like that, maybe 09. But I didn't post no HVAC stuff at first just because I was kind of, I don't know. You got to really be crazy to post your work. I mean, because you're asking for the whole world to judge you on everything. So, I mean, if you think you're a badass, post your videos and see how many people tear you apart. So, I mean, you know, the only reason why I do it is just to kind of help out the younger guys and stuff like that. I never try to claim that I know everything, because I'll tell you what, you'll get put in your place real quick because there's always somebody that knows more.
Hey, that's why I made the YouTube police song. That was hilarious, dude. Because
Yeah, it was.
Everyone's gonna crack your stones. Look, man, I had these old guys tell me when I was younger, I used to beat myself up over recalls. Yeah, all the time. I get all down on myself. And this old timer came over. He goes, "Hey, quit getting down on yourself." He goes, "You're always going to have recalls until you hang the wrenches up." And that's a fact. And no one's going to do a perfect job every time. And my videos can get picked apart all day long. It's fine. You know, we're out there trying to do what we do, share a little bit of knowledge. And it's all good. It's all good.
I've been lucky. I mean, I haven't had too much. I mean, I have a couple here and there, which, whatever. I mean, I think when you just humble yourself, you know, that's the key. Because, I mean, if you go out there as a smart ass and you think you know everything, I mean, you're just asking for trouble. You know, when I don't try to say I know everything, because, I mean, there's always going to be somebody that knows the exact scientific way of doing it, and they're going to find something wrong and tear it apart. So it's like, whatever. I do better than what most people do. I mean, I get made fun of for what I do. They think that, you know, I'm doing it just to make a video. And it's like, no, I'm really doing what I do because I enjoy doing it. But, you know, prior to coming to where I'm at, I mean, I was bored of the field and didn't really care either. And I had no interest. I mean, it was just a job at that point. I mean, it was fun in the beginning years, but, you know, after doing it, you know, 20 years at that time, or 19, something like that, I was bored of it. And so getting into the company I'm at now, doing the refrigeration and always doing something new, it's kept it interesting and new. So, I mean, if you're bored of your job and not into it, you may want to try maybe going into something a little more diversified, because, I mean, it'll become all challenging again. I mean, for me, it's like starting all over, getting into the grocery refrigeration and the chiller stuff. I mean, I have very little experience on that. So, I mean, it's like starting all over. But what sucks is because we get judged on our callbacks is, you know, why do I want to try to do these harder things when it could be a callback? So I lose money when that happens. Let's see if we got any more people here. But, you know, none of us are perfect.
I got lucky when I started out too, man. I got trained by these old timers that did things the old ways. You know, in the late 80s, it was all about fixing equipment, not selling new equipment. So,
yeah, I fix it. I mean, I don't get paid nothing more either way.
Yeah, and those guys did, you know, they did a good job teaching me tricks in the trade. So as far as making the video goes, if I could pass some things along that people have helped me out and I could help someone else out, why not? You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of guys out there that don't want to show the young guys how to fix stuff, man. I don't know what their problem is, but
I know when I first started.
We're going to have a huge shortage in this trade when the guys my age, and you're probably close to my age too. I'm 52. So, you know, 10, 15 years from now, you're going to have a lot of guys retire. There's not going to be a lot of people doing this work, and they're going to have a huge shortage. But the thing is, this job has always paid the bills. It's a great trade. Hey, man, I do feel like we got it better than the electricians or the plumbers. I really do. Especially on the service side, you're always going to have a job doing this. Always.
Yeah, I mean, I've pretty well been recession proof and everything else. So, with what's going on here with today's scare that's going on, I mean, this is the first time where things have actually gotten kind of tight for me. I mean, we've been lucky. I mean, I've only lost a few hours, but for the most part, we've been recession proof. All the crap that happened in '06, '07, '08, all that crap had no effect. But when I picked this field, I picked something that you had to have. It's not an option nowadays. I mean, you got to have your food from refrigerated, or it's going to spoil. You need heat depending on where you live at, or you're going to freeze to death. And depending on where you live at, you may have to have air conditioning, or you're going to die because of the humidity levels. So it's not a luxury anymore. It's a necessity, and that's what's awesome about the field is, I mean, you can do anywhere in the world, and we're so diversified. I mean, we do electrical, we do plumbing, we do a little bit of everything. So, I mean, it's an awesome field to be in, I feel as though. So,
I enjoy the heck out of it. Hey, thanks, HVACR vlogger. I need to get you to come work at the university with us. Where do you live at? I got 2 openings right there in Santa Cruz. You come and get on the easy street. You do a good job. The kid does a good job.
yeah, I enjoy watching him and stuff. He's definitely got a good, cool personality. I would like to try to set up something with him also. I wanted to get HVAC rookie, refrigeration rookie, pretty much anybody that's got a channel out there. I mean, by all means, I mean, bring them on and kind of just shoot the crap and just kind of get to know them type deal. I think, people need to know that we're just normal people. Nobody's special. So,
Series, hey, HVACR vlogger series. That's by Modesto, right? You're out. It gets hot out there. Where he lives in summertime, dude. It's 100 degrees all summer, bro. I'm not kidding. I don't even think it gets lower than 100.
how far north are you? Like, are you at the very top?
No, I'm just below San Francisco on the coast.
Okay.
I'm only 60 miles from San Francisco. I live at it's the beach for the Silicon Valley.
So you're kind of in the middle.
I'm 23 miles from San Jose.
Yeah. So say this is California. You're like about here or about there?
About the middle. About smack dab in the middle.
So you're lying. You're not really north.
No, it's good, man. It's a good catchphrase, bro.
It sounds cool. Yeah, that sounds cool. I like it. Make sure you guys are putting it in all caps. If there's something you guys want to see, here we go. Dave, what BMS system? I think you already said that one, but go ahead and tell them again. What type of building management system do they have?
Hey, vlogger, I used to work for Robic. That's where those old guys taught me. I used to work. Carl Stewart was the service manager at Robic, and then Howard Garner. I think Howard might still be there, but I worked for Robic for years and out there in the Central Valley. And that's how I know how hot it is in summertime. And we used to do the dairy refrigeration. We used to do residential and the commercial stuff. We used to do all the Lions restaurants. It was super busy. We'd drive 1,000,000 miles back then. That's in the 80s. That's where I started at, was at Robic. There you go.
Cool. Robic, was that like a service company or was a restaurant? What was it?
The name of the refrigeration business, Robic Refrigeration. Yep. And I think it was the owners and the wife's 2 names put together.
Really?
Mm-hmm. They had a big HVAC. They did sheet metal and they did refrigeration, the whole deal. It was a great shop. Busy place, dude. I'd get 20 hours overtime on the weekends. Every weekend, I get about 20 hours OT. But you got to remember, it was hot out there. So summertime in the Central Valley, dude, it's a Hunsky.
Yeah. A little free advertising out there for Refrigeration TV. He does a lot of commercial stuff. I've actually been checking him out because he's doing what I'm basically trying to get into as far as, the Johnson controls on the refrigeration racks. So I don't think there's as many people doing the big refrigeration systems. So I've been checking him out. And Dave, you said there was another guy too that was real big, and he just now started coming back. Who was that gentleman you said as far as he did the racks and stuff?
Oh, HVACR. What's his channel? He's out by Fresno. Is it Hacker? HVACR Hacker?
No, it wasn't Hacker. I've got him in my thing. I don't hide my subscription. So, I mean, I want to almost do a video one time on kind of like how you guys can like go through all of our videos. Because if you click on like the name of us, you can actually
Junkie,
click on
that's it,
that.
Felipe, HVACR junkie.
Yeah.
Felipe nailed it. That guy, yeah, dude, he was killing it with the rack stuff. But I think he does commercial now. He has his own business.
Yeah, he said he went on his own. I said hi to him and told him that you recommended him and stuff. And like Chris helped me get my start, so I'm willing to help other people. It's the same thing. I mean, it's not like I'm not going to help nobody else get their YouTube channel going. I mean, they're either going to sink or swim. But if we can help them out, hell yeah, let's help them out. I mean, it's not going to hurt anything. It's just more variety. Everybody's got their own thing that they want to learn about. I mean, I do a crap load of refrigeration stuff, and that might be boring to some people, but I also do other stuff. It's just I do more refrigeration than I do other things. So you kind of get your fill of each one of them. And, by all means, I mean, we need to learn how to help each other out. It doesn't have to be assholes everywhere. Yeah. He was doing pretty good too. Then you got in New Jersey. It's funny. I remember where the people are located at more than anything. Hacker, HVAC hacker. He's in New Jersey, and he does generators, and he was doing some boilers, and he does some refrigeration stuff here and there. So I mean, he's a good guy to check out too. There's all kinds of different ones out there. I mean, you just kind of got to search around.
There's so many good channels out there. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, I use YouTube all the time. Like, dude, if I got a wrench on the car or the motorcycle or even the refrigeration stuff, dude, you can find it right on YouTube.
Yeah. I mean, I was having a problem going to the restroom, so I mean, I even checked it out.
A good channel. You know what I learned on Israel's channel? I learned how I could sit on my butt and leave some flex hanging without the wires hooked up. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. That was bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've heard some interesting stories there. I never really watched too much of it. I know that there's some hate mail going on there between two different people, but I stay out of it. I didn't donate any money to that, and it sounds kind of.
I don't donate any money on social medias, and I'll say it right now. I don't do it because I've gotten burned in the past a long time ago, and I know Zach's had a couple fires, and he's a super good dude, and I know if I was to donate to him, it would go to the right place, but I still don't do it just because I've gotten burned before. So I just don't do it on the internet, period. Sorry. That's just me. But yeah, I saw that whole deal go down. That was gnarly.
I think Dave Ramsey did a really good one. Basically, never loan any more money than what you're willing to give away. So, I mean, that's kind of like waving at people. A lot of times I'll wave at them and I don't look to see if they wave back. You can't get pissed off that way. It's the same thing, So that's just my philosophy on it. See if we got anything in here. I mean, you guys, you're getting the opportunity of a lifetime here.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I don't get to wear that. I mean,
trying to think whose channels I like to watch. I used to be hooked on Stephen Reardon's channels. That guy would go out in the snow and fix heaters. He'd be in the summertime crawling under those houses, doing all that residential stuff. That guy had a good channel. I hope he starts making videos again.
Yeah, I mean, he's still there. He does every now and again. He makes some stuff.
His camera work was good, and he had that music where it was just the guitar player and the drummer. That was really good stuff.
100-watt Vipers, I believe was who it was.
100-watt Vipers, yeah, that's right. That stuff was good, man. He was killing it. Good dude. Good dude.
Johnny Fair.
I used to like going on his Facebook page and putting stuff on there and pissing him off, dude.
He's big into guns too. He's got a channel dedicated just to that. So
who doesn't like guns, dude?
You'd be surprised, I think, out there. You know how those California people are. But yeah.
Hey, our gun shops are still open, dude, out here where I'm at.
You guys had to wait 10 days though for your gun.
Yeah, big deal. 10 days is not a bad idea. There's a lot of hotheads. 10 days is probably good for some people.
For us, we can get it about 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah, we're 10 days, and you have to take a test. You have to make sure you can answer 25 questions.
See, and then that stuff was challenged in like Chicago, Illinois and stuff. What?
But you can still get dumbed down ARs in California and stuff. They just look funny. But you
Yeah,
can still
10 round maximum.
They're fixed magazines, so you can't change mags too. It's hilarious.
How in the world are you supposed to load it?
You crack it open and load it from the top.
Single shot.
You got to go like this. Put your 10 in, put the pin back, and then you can go plinking. Does that make sense?
Wow.
You know, the AR, get the pin in the back of the AR and it opens. You can
Yeah.
the front. Ring. Yep.
Oh, good God. I would never in a million years try to do it like that. I was going to say like the AK-47 or the SKS. I mean, the SKS was load from the top. You could lock the bolt back and use stripper clips, which is where everyone gets the crap from clips. It's, it's technically a stripper clip. And it's like, people don't even understand the difference between a magazine and they call them a clip. And it's like, but that's getting all technical there. One guy, Johnny Fair, was asking why I changed my name. It was just something I decided to do. When I knew, I kind of talked to my boss. He was a little bit, he got taken by surprise. I never asked for permission to do my channel. And then, I had some issues with some folks, and basically it was all getting ready to blow up on me. And I kind of confronted the boss to let him know ahead of time, and everything kind of blew up. And so it took several months later. Basically, I told him how much I really enjoyed it, and I offered to follow a bunch of rules and stuff like that, and convinced him that I would do, videos that did not put the company in any type of jeopardy, any type of bad light, and, just basically kept it on the low end. I'm getting permission from everybody that I'm shooting my videos at, so it's not like I'm in there just scanning the whole house, which is another reason why I don't do a whole lot at the residentials, because, I've watched some people's videos and they're sitting there, yeah, here's the guy's bedroom and he's got a safe back here in the back, and it's like, oh, look at that. He's got alarm sensors up here and 2 motions in the kitchen. It's like, no, thank you. I don't want blame for somebody's house getting cased because of it. So, but yeah, I get permission on every video I make. That way, and I didn't do that originally. So I changed my name for that reason there. I'm in Ohio. I'm not really trying to hide it, but, I was very descriptive with my name, and it just draws more in it. I don't have a clue how many people from my area even watch it. I only had like one guy say that he seen me once at the supply house. Otherwise, I'm a nobody. So, that was the reason why I changed it. Nothing really. It was an offer to do it.
There's a couple of you guys get hammered making videos where you had to quit making videos. Like people would actually call your boss. Is that what was happening or what?
For me, it was one of the guys I worked with, but we've got it all worked out now. We worked it all out, and it just, everything blew up and went the wrong direction. You get online, things get blown out of proportion, and it just went downhill in a hurry. And since that time, we finally are talking again, and, like I said, just come to me if you got an issue with anything, and, and we'll work it out instead of, not confronting the person. I've always been one, you go to the person you got an issue with, don't go to anyone else. So, one person's asking me if I ever met Jim Pettinato. I've not met him. I've tried to contact him before. I've been in Cleveland and stuff, and I've looked him up and stuff, left him a good review on his, Google account and stuff. But unfortunately, Jim basically, I think, had enough of the haters out there, and he just says, screw it. So, I'd love to meet him. I'd love to go out and work with him, a couple days and bounce things off of him. Because, there's so many things you could learn from somebody.
He's like the old guys that taught me. I really gravitated to his channel because he was just like the guys that taught me the trade. Super, super good dude.
Yeah. You were the second guy that I would say Raritan was my first I started watching. And then the second one was Jim, and then finally you. And then eventually I ran into Chris's channel. And, now I found the easiest way is just to kind of go to the people's channel that you like watching and see who they're watching. So a lot of times, I don't hide who I got subscribed to. You can find a lot of people that way. That's a really easy one. Right here, Sterling Archer, he's over in France. He was asking both of us, how do you deal with brown nosers? At my company, we don't have too many of them. Usually we just call them a kiss ass and move on with it. So, we don't have too many of them where we're at. It doesn't really get you anywhere. Our bosses and stuff kind of, don't have time for that BS. So, how about you, Dave?
So at my day job, so it's a state job, I've had every kind of training and class you could imagine. So yeah, we have a lot of people that go to work but don't work, and there's nothing I can do about it. But I can't say a word about it. Those
Yeah.
jobs, those state type jobs, you basically you can't talk to your coworkers. So not anything they can say could get you canned. You know what I'm saying? If it's
Yeah.
stuff like that. So on that, and I don't have any coworkers at Nor-Cal, but sometimes I have to get mad at myself, I guess. But yeah, my day job, I just got to choke it down, man. You just got to eat it.
Yeah.
Which sometimes, sometimes just focus. I get my schedule every day. All I need to do is what's done on my schedule, right? So I just got to put my head to the grindstone, get my work done, and not worry about anybody else. Fly Eagle Flies is in the house. That guy's a good dude. He said he's lost 70 to 80% of his customers. Yep, us too. Me too. I got guys that are shut down completely. And some of them I've talked to about getting the government loan money. Uh, they did all the paperwork and everything and got zero. No answers yet. How
Yeah,
about
and then
you,
they
dude?
ran out of money. I don't. For us, I don't believe that we've had to do any of that stuff. I mean, the company I work for, we're so diversified and have so many contracts and stuff. I mean, we got 100 plus employees. We've got 2 full-time auto mechanics. We have a welding department. We've got controls department, engineers. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, we've got a little everything. And if you want to, learn the other stuff. I mean, I almost went into controls about 3 years ago because me and the guy that's in charge of that, he kind of liked me and stuff, and I almost went that route because I wasn't moving into what I wanted to do. And after I kind of confronted him and said, "Hey, I'm thinking about going over to the controls," then I started getting to do more of what I wanted to do. But yeah, we're pretty fortunate. We're a small town company, and he's got a lot of friends. The boss does, and we treat people right. We're a very reputable company, and they they get rewarded for it. We got a lot of little factories that do work for Honda and stuff like that, and we do a lot of work for them. We got a lot of the schools, a lot of nursing homes, but a lot of those places aren't letting us in right now. So we've got a lot of service contracts that we're not able to do yet. So I mean, it's the work's just setting there. Luckily, I've been doing a lot of evaporator change outs on coolers and things that have been leaking. So I mean, I've been pretty fortunate that I had those sort of things. I just went back to a school on Friday and changed the bearings on an exhaust hood and then changed an evaporator on a reach in. That was 9 hours there. So I mean, that was a whole day. I had a couple others that were only bid for like 6.5 hours. So, that's close enough. When I'm seeing these guys that are, losing almost everything, I'm not going to complain about losing a couple hours. So, yeah, I mean, our control department, we've got 3 or 4 guys now full time. We actually hired one of the guys that was doing tech support for the supply house. So we hired him. And then plus, our guy that was the main guy for our control thing. I mean, I really look up to him. I mean, he is super smart, and even though he doesn't do repair anymore, the guy knows his stuff, and because he had a knee injury and stuff, he's switching to controls. So I mean, he knows some shit. So when he goes out, and that's the best thing, and the reason why he wanted who he wanted for controls is you can teach anybody usually the controls, or you can take a computer guy and teach controls, but you can't teach just anybody how the equipment works. And that's how you have a good controls guy, because if they don't understand how the equipment works, they can program it and basically create a lot of issues because they don't understand what shuts the thing down. For us on residential, we're collecting on everything, good customers, bad customers, everything. We're collecting on all of them. Now, our commercial customers we're not, but for all residential, we're collecting on all of it. And that's the way to deal with it. Because if you think about it, I mean, as people start getting tight on money, it's just like night service. Oh yeah, come on out. I don't care if it's $300 an hour. And then until the bill comes, and then they're like, oh, I'm broke, So
I've been
yeah,
hitting them up for the credit card too. But before the COVID thing, real normal for the restaurant business, I'd be riding 10 grand for at least 2 months. and then getting, they'll pay you 60 days out, pretty normal in the restaurant business. Luckily, all my outstanding accounts, I got paid with this thing going down, but I used a little tactic. I would call them up when the shutdown went down and they owed me money. I would tell them, hey man, do me a favor. I go, I've always come out and hooked you guys up. I go, pay me with your credit card. I go, burn your credit card company, but don't burn me. And they all went for it. And it totally worked. I did a $900 job for a guy the other day, and I called him trying to get paid. And he was real honest. He goes, look, dude, I'll send you a check. It's going to be a couple weeks, but I've done work with him for like 25 years. So I'm not worried about it. Cause they're doing pizza. So they're still in business. But
Yeah.
he was honest about it. He goes, give me a couple weeks for a 900 bucker.
Yeah, I mean, even where I was at before, I mean, when I came there, we were losing $3,000 a month in unpaid bills, and usually when you send things to collections, you only get you lose at least 40%, I think, if not more. Sterling, he was asking something there. Sometimes I have to cover a mistake for a coworker has made because I ain't no snitch, and end up getting blamed for it. How would you deal with it? I mean, for me, what I was told, because I have a tendency to say more than I should sometimes, my boss says, I don't want you to lie. It's like having an apple basket. You can show the basket, but you don't always have to pour the whole basket out. So you don't have to tell them everything. So, I mean, I'm not going to do anything. It's going to screw the customer over. It's going to cost some money because we made a mistake. Generally, if it's something major, I would probably get a hold of somebody over top of me and kind of explain the situation and ask them how they want to handle it. Because, I mean, honestly, it comes down to you're not paid to have to make that decision. So if you can pawn it off to somebody above you to say, how do they want to handle it? That way it's their money that's going one way or the other. That's what I would do. I would basically call your boss, man, and kind of just say, hey, here's what I found. How do you want me to deal with the situation? Do you want me to bill for it? Do you want me to say anything? Do you want me to just make something up? But then, I guess if anything, if you can cover it and yet still not have to screw the customer, basically, that way you don't look bad and the customer's still not getting charged for it. In that case scenario, that's a win. They're being taken care of and they're not getting screwed. But when you have to lie and screw the customer, I'm not into that. I won't do it.
Yeah, I used to. So when I worked for the shop in town here, I would always make sure the customer got their stuff fixed without having to pay. Because I think what Sterling's talking about, if we got to go on a recall for a coworker. Is that what we're talking about, kind of? So
I'm assuming
I'd go fix it and try and cover the tracks and just tell the customer, I'd come up with something, probably pretty much lying through my teeth, but letting them know that, hey, we got it fixed. It's going to work for you. You're not getting charged. And I honestly probably, depending on who the mechanic was, if it was someone that was approachable and I knew they had skills, I'd kind of let them know what happened so that they could learn from it and not do it again and maybe take their time and look at the whole system. But in the big picture is you want that customer to use your business. So you don't want to lose business. So we always make sure the customer got taken care of, and not getting charged again. But the shop I worked for, it was easy. It was easy to put the customer first because we weren't getting paid ticket time. We clocked in and clocked out, and that's how we got paid. And it was always nice of the boss to do that for us. So it left it open for us to go and repair stuff and be more customer orientated. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I think so.
Yeah.
Here,
customer first.
Yeah. I mean, you take care of them. I mean, and people can see through it. I mean, I think if they feel as though you're trying to do them a good job and things like that, they can sense that. They know, if you're trying to pull the wool over their eyes. They're not stupid. They may not know how it works, but I mean, you take a little longer and you're kind of like, I'm not going to say nothing much.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'd still get pissed. Like, here's a great example. And this probably happens to all the guys that are watching right now. Your coworker on a Friday goes out and does a gas and go maybe on a small rack system or something. So say they dump 30 pounds of gas in a unit at a grocery store. And it was a Friday. They never did a leak check. You're the guy on call. You're back out there probably Saturday morning, right? And the manager's telling you, hey, your guy's just here. They put a bunch of gas in. You go and do, you take your time, do a little diligence. You find the leak. Let's say you find the leak in less than an hour. Took you less than an hour to find the leak. And then you get a little bummed out but should the customer have to eat that? And it's going to be a big ticket. I mean, you got to tell your boss, because you're going to put 30 pounds of gas in. That's a lot of money. You got to let your boss know what happened. You can't charge the customer because technically it's a recall. And that would be one that would happen all the time, Rick. I don't know about you, but that would happen. That would happen a lot.
As far as what?
Those ones you would really have to talk to the mechanic about and say, bro, you got to take some time and leak check, man, you know, without pissing them off. And you got to do it without pissing them off too, right?
Yeah. I mean, around here, I mean, it's, there's certain people you can talk to, and, you know, it's all in how you say it, I guess. And I'm not always the best person in the world. Or what I'll do is sometimes I'll tell the dispatch woman, and since she's been there like 25, 27 years, you know, she has a good working relationship with everyone, and maybe just let her deal with it. Because, I mean, for the most part, we have managers, but really don't have managers. We pretty much work on our own by ourselves, and we're kind of self-sufficient. So, I mean, there's really nobody to answer for unless you did something really bad.
There's a question in there. How many of us are wearing masks? I'm wearing the mask out. I've been doing it for over a month, though. I was ahead of the curve. My daughter's boyfriend has, I think he was in Wuhan in December, and he's got friends in China. And so he's been in contact with his friends playing video games. You know, they all talk to each other and stuff. And so we knew what was coming down the pipe a long time ago. So we had prepared and stuff. And that's when I made that one video. I knew we were going to get shut down here because everyone, you know, China was getting shut down. And so I've been wearing the mask for like a month.
Yeah.
At first people were freaking out. I think it pissed people off at first, but I didn't care. I wore the damn mask.
I'm doing it for any of the residentials I go to, because we got a lot of older customers. Because if you listen to it, the mask is not protecting you. It's protecting the people around you, because it's going to catch the droplets or whatever and keep them at your you know, by your face area. So, I mean, even the N95 and stuff, I mean, that's going to catch it to a point. But then, you know, when you take it off and all this other crap, say it's getting caught on it, unless you're throwing it away or whatever the case, you're touching it. I mean, it's so easy to spread it around. I mean, I'm figuring this stuff so first contagious as they're saying and stuff like that. I'm thinking there's more to the story as far as how easy it's transferred and stuff. But yeah, I'm wearing it.
There was a report from University of Nebraska Medical Center, and they found out that it's airborne. Not like smallpox is airborne, but they took air samples in houses of people that tested positive, and they were getting positive readings at a pretty good distance.
Yeah.
So 6 feet's a bunch of baloney, in my opinion. I'm not a scientist, so don't hold me to it, but in their article, it was more like 21 feet.
Yeah.
And then if you wear the N95 mask like I have, that has the flapper, you're breathing out on everybody, dude. So it's filtering the air coming in, but you got the little flapper, so all your crap's coming out. Same with my asbestos respirator. So the air coming in, that's N100, is getting filtered, but the air coming out, it's not getting filtered on those.
Correct.
So I don't know. I got some other masks I'm trying out and some other things. Dude, working in the mask all day is brutal. And then the respirator, you can't wear more than 8 hours unless you do. You're supposed to have a lung test, a breathing test.
If it's a true respirator, you're supposed to have it.
Yeah, if you wear that for more than 8 hours, it could damage your lungs. So you got to be real careful with those.
From what I was told, even if you had it, it's an OSHA violation if you haven't been tested for it.
Yeah, I've had the testing from my day job because I work at Asbestos Hill, dude. So we have to do asbestos training every year. We had to get the chest x-ray, do the breathing test. And we have to do it every year. You have to get it renewed every year for them to issue you the respirator.
Yeah. I think a lot of people don't understand, kind of like this one right here, they should provide medicine to anyone. There is no medicine for this. All the test does is say, yep, you're screwed. Now go home and set it out. I mean, there's nothing other than knowing that you're screwed. There's no remedy, and just stay away from people. So, I mean, it don't really do any good other than yep, you're screwed.
And typically in an OR surgical setting, you need to have at least 3 to 6 full room air exchanges before that OR suite is even clear of it. And that can take some time.
That's our dispatch woman right there. She actually works in the medical field.
I did the test too, Ray. Yep. Well, think about this. I was thinking about this. So in my area, they still don't have the testing in place yet. So I'm convinced they just don't have enough tests, but they're making them. So the tests are coming. Now, if we get tested and let's say we're asymptomatic, because a lot of people are and they don't get sick, you're not going to be able to go to work, dude, until you get a negative test. Would I be correct in thinking that?
Yeah. We're taking temperatures every morning and then we're writing it down. And then every 15 days we have to turn them into the state. So every morning I got to write down my temperature before, I go to work. And then if anyone in the home has it, or if you basically get the temperature thing, you've got to self-quarantine for the 14-day thing. So Johnny Fair is asking now, do y'all work on very many isomatic ice machines? I don't see very many videos on YouTube, people working on them. I've only worked on a few of them. They look a lot like a Manitowoc or actually a Scotsman, I think, to a point, but I haven't seen
Felipe,
a new ones.
Felipe does a lot of isomatics. He's the isomatic commander. Felipe works on isomatics. We don't sell them up here, man. It's Manitowoc and Hoshisaki's everybody buys.
Yeah,
that's what Rick.
We personally sell the Manitowoc. The Hajisaki, our local distributor has them, but they're more expensive. So they basically, a lot of people buy on price, unfortunately. So yeah, those are Scotsman, Hajisaki, and Manitowoc. The one I have the most problems with is Hajisaki because I don't work on many of them, but I've been through the class.
They're the best ice makers, Rick. They are. To me, they're the best ones.
They seem like they're pretty resilient because they're good grief, man. You guys are sweet to each other. So sorry. The wife, she's really bad about interrupting me because I'm like a squirrel, and it's like as soon as she says something, it's like, what? And it totally throws me off. And it's like, oh, you just wanted to tell me that, the dog went over here. It's like, what in the world? So, but yeah, it's you can tell they're good stuff. We usually try to use those when we have really bad water. Because out where I'm at, I'm majority not residential, what they call it. We're out in the country, so and then even the towns that I'm in, some of them have reservoirs or they're on a big old well system. So I mean, the water is coming out of the ground anyway, so not all of it's real treated. So we got a thing called sulfur water. We got a lot of hard water. We got a lot of calcium in the water. The calcium is probably the worst because it just gums the machine up, and your green cleaner doesn't do shit on calcium. So you got to have some sort of calcium cleaner, and that or iron. Iron's really bad. You can't get that off. That really sucks. So yeah. Let's see here. Now, do you do?
My biggest problem with ice makers is my customers don't do maintenance. It's repair on break. So that's why you see in my videos all these ice makers are filthy. Because by the time they call me, it's to the point where they're not making ice anymore. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
I couldn't sell a maintenance if my life depended on it out here. They just won't spend the money. It's mostly mom and pop restaurants out here. The hippies have kept the chain restaurants away for the most part. And they just want it to be small town, local, they're all into that kind of thing out here. I don't even have a Walmart, dude.
Really?
Nope.
We even have a Walmart. That or you're so big,
yet.
you wouldn't have them because you are so big. They have them around other places though, don't they?
If I drive, I think 40 miles away, I think there's one in Marina.
Wow.
In the town of Marina, where the Army base used to be.
We can hit 3 of them in 40 miles.
Felipe's going to grow a beard. Get a beard, Felipe. That'll be cool.
Huh.
Felipe's going to grow a beard.
I don't think I've seen him before. Does he have a channel? Oh, that's great.
He's super good. He's super good looking. He kills it in Southern California. He's down there, in his bikini at the beach all day.
Does he have a YouTube channel?
A little bit.
Oh,
Felipe,
really?
Don't you have some videos, Felipe?
Well, we're coming up.
He's a hard-working dude. He's always out there grinding.
Yeah, but I don't know too many people that work as hard as Dave. I mean, does a full 8 hours to 10 hours and then goes and does another 4 or 5 hours when he gets done. How many hours do you sleep on average?
I don't know. I usually when I get home, I'll go to bed and I wake up at 5. And then I'll make some coffee and go to work.
So how many hours you think?
Then on Saturday and Sunday, I always plan stuff on Saturdays and Sundays too. So I'm always working on Saturday and Sunday. And then thanks, Felipe. I text Felipe. Me and Felipe text each other a lot, almost like every day. We're like phone buddies. he's like, what are you working on? And we'll send each other pictures all the time. He's out there grinding too. He's out there working much, but you know, I get probably 7 hours of sleep. I don't know. I probably like 7 hours a night sleep.
That's probably more than me. I mean, I shoot for somewhere around 6 area, but they say it makes a difference. But yeah, guys, if you guys want to post some comments in there real quick, I mean, we're coming up on an hour and 20 minutes. I don't want to just kind of do, you know, just jibber jabber here, but by all means, if you guys got some questions for Dave or myself, by all means, start posting them in all caps if you would.
Give us a question. Yeah, let's see. Questions. I can only clean my tools and bands so much. I run out of stuff to do. How many of you guys are laid off just going nuts? I mean, how much video games and movies can you watch and laundry and all that shit? The laundry never ends.
I have not had any of that stuff. I mean, I got a buddy that works for Ford, and he's getting paid full rate to sit on his butt. And I don't know. I couldn't do it. Hey, Archer, basically that was a 902 Fluke. I mean, I've got the Fluke 87.5. I've got the Fluke 376. So, I mean, I've got some fancy meters. I just don't like to use them. I just wanted something that had basic voltage and ohms and stuff. And once again, I bought it on eBay, and I got it for like $148. I mean, it's a $280 meter. I just like the accuracy of it. I mean, otherwise, it don't have as many features as I prefer to have on it. It's a good meter. I can't complain. It's the 902 FC.
The old 902 went into K ohms. It was very disappointing.
Yeah, it only goes up to 60,000, I think. Even the new one.
Dude, I'm still rocking the DL429. I didn't buy the B model yet, but the UEI DL429 is a damn good meter.
I've got it.
I had the old Phoenix one before that. It's good stuff.
The Phoenix one's the one I have. The 387, 3 something. It was the best one they had, the Pro whatever series.
Yeah, I think that was like a 3 something. I have that one too. I think I bought it in 2002 or 2001, and it's still going strong.
Yeah.
Every field piece meter I had puked. I'm not kidding.
I got field piece for my manometers, my probes. I mean, it's just like anything. I mean, everybody
probes
makes
are good. The field piece probes are real good. I love those things.
Yeah. I think everybody's got good products and bad products. I mean, you know, there's the thing I can always say about field piece though is they take really good care of you, even if the stuff's not under warranty. I mean,
being in California, I can send my stuff there and get it back in about 2 days. They're really good. Their warranties, handling of the warranty for us on the West Coast is amazing.
Yeah.
But Andrew Greaves gave me that Navac recovery machine, the Nerd, and it blows the doors off the Mr. 45. And I really like the Mr. 45 because it's a little bit lighter and smaller. But that Navac recovery machine, now I got it given to me for free. So it's for me to go tell you guys, oh, it's the cat's meow. It's really not fair because that thing's really expensive, but it's pretty damn good. It's a good recovery machine.
Now, this ain't the battery operated one. Which one is it?
No, that's a vacuum pump. The little vacuum pump, it's okay for some things, but hey, like Steve Labs told me, vacuum pumps got to have a cord, man. It ain't a vacuum pump unless it has a cord.
However, you know, I was pulling a vac on one on Thursday, and the power went out. When I was out in the truck, I come in, and all the emergency lights are on. And I'm like, oh, shit. So I run over there and valve it off real quick, and I was still at 29 inches. But, you know, it's like, dang it, and the power didn't come on for an hour and a half. Now, that's one instance there, but even then I wasn't going to leave without seeing what my pressures are and all that. So, I mean, I still don't see the point in the battery, other than if you're working on some 480 equipment and you don't have anything 120 volt area to tap into. I mean, that would be the only reason why I think you'd want the battery. Otherwise, I don't see the point in it. It's kind of, I don't know. That's the only thing I can come up.
I mean, there's times when so he also gave me that vacuum pump, the 2CFM one. There's times when you can break it out and use it, you know, situations where you don't have all your stuff, but you got that little thing to go with the 2 batteries. It just takes longer, you know, so I don't know if you're really, for the convenience of breaking it out, taking it out there because you didn't hook up electricity, is it
Yeah.
really going to be any better because it's going to take longer to pull a vacuum? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, you got to use the bigger hose. I mean, otherwise you're kind of sucking through a straw. Jay was asking.
I'm not a big fan of the True Blue hose either. I got one, and I still end up using my. I got the Yellow Jacket 3/8 by 1/4 inch hoses. I still like those more because they're more pliable for like getting on those little refrigeration units like we work on. The Smurf boner one, man. It's just sometimes it doesn't get in there, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I've had to use a right angle deal. I mean, I'd like to have some of the other fancy ones. My God, they're $25 for the fitting. Jay there was asking, how long does it take to be a good tech? I think that's a little subjective. I mean, it really depends on how fast you pick up on things, and it really depends on what exactly you're working on. So, I mean, if you're always seeing something new.
It took me about 4 years, I'm not going to lie. From 1987 until about 91, I was freaking horrible. And,
I didn't.
But I was trying to be a professional partier at the same time. See, it depends what you do in your life. Are you going to study? Are you going to, now with YouTube and stuff, you know, are you going to put the time in and become a good tech? For the first 4 years, dude, I was young and I was trying to be stupid and I was terrible. And it took me about a solid 4 years. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I didn't even get to be on call or run anything other than planned service, which is a planned maintenance. It took 2 years before I even got to that. So, I mean, I learned a lot from it, but I mean, and I would say probably at least 4 to 5 years, somewhere in that ballpark. It just depends on whether they're trying to hold you back or not, which is like a lot of the reason why I was making the videos too, is I see how hard it is for me to get some of the training that I want right now. And it's not that they're like saying I ain't going to show you. It's just we can't afford to send 2 top paid guys on a job where it only takes the one. So unless you want to go at a training rate, you know, that's a lot of it. So, I mean, that was my retaliation against the world kind of thing, was to try to help out people because I felt so discriminated against, because it's like, I want to learn this, but nobody wants to show me it. And, you know, I think it was my way of letting my frustration out, and in the hopes of eventually getting either a sponsorship or some free tools. Because, I mean, it don't really pay anything major until you get really big. And even then, I mean, I got a full-time job. I don't need this. I just enjoy the comments and stuff. So there was one other one there.
Hey, Sterling, the problem with the blue hose for myself is I didn't purchase all the fittings like Rick was talking about. He has a 90-degree angle fitting to get on some of these smaller units. So for me, the hose works good. I just don't have all the connectors. And like you said, they're $25 for one connector. It's just easier for me to break out the Yellow Jacket 3/8 hose that has a 1/4 inch fitting on one side and the 3/8 fitting on the other. And I have 3 of those hoses already. So for me, it's just easier to use that.
Yeah.
You just got to have all the connectors with that blue hose. But they will bring your vacuum times down faster. They're huge.
Yeah, especially if you got one that's got a lot of refrigerant in the oil, or you know, and stuff like that. I mean, it speeds it up. I mean, and you can see whether you got an issue, and you can find out a lot quicker than just sitting there pulling through the manifold. Johnny Fair is asking if you use R11 flush much. I only use it every now and again, only if it's a massive burnout. Otherwise, no. Generally, liquid dryer and kind of go that route. So, not very often. Not very often. I mean, I've used the oil treatment stuff, but I haven't done it here where I'm at now. So, old vlogger was asking if we've seen the beatdown on Zach's channel as far as Ralph, between him and the Nylog man. The Nylog man came in with some scientific stuff. I didn't quite understand what his dilemma was, as far as he was like, you need to do things right. And I'm thinking, okay, so the stuff is an oil base. I only use it as a lubricant. So for me, it's just convenient that I don't have a oil bottle leaking everywhere. So, I mean, I'm not counting on the Nylog to seal my threads or anything like that. When you're squishing that thing together in that flare fitting, that copper is going to flatten out. It's going to move. And then you got the nut on the backside. And when it's turning, it usually wants to twist. It's to reduce the friction there. I mean, I'm not using it to seal it.
It's so the expansion and contraction for heating and cooling to help the threads keep that flare nut from backing out. That's why I use it. But I understand Ralph's point. So
yeah, do it right.
A lot of guys that understand with the 410A on these mini splits, it's a 45-degree angle. So your old flaring block doesn't make the right flare for those units. You've got to have a flaring tool that makes a 45-degree flare for reals. It's a different flaring tool. And I think Ralph's point is get the right tool, use the torque spec, and that's what Mitsubishi wants. And I totally agree with all that. But if I'm installing it and I take Ralph's class and all that stuff, I'm still putting something on those threads, dude.
Yeah.
The biggest callback is those things loosening up and you lose your charge. Come on, we all know that.
I use the original Yellow Jacket flaring toolkit that has the swedger built into it, and it's a 45-degree angle, but I think the biggest difference is the orbital versus the traditional, where it just kind of goes down.
Big difference. Yeah.
Yeah, because it slowly bends that copper like it's clay bowl, and then forms it.
Dude, I still use the blue leak lock, dude. I love that stuff.
I hate leak lock, dude. I hate that crap.
Bro, I still use it. It's in my tool bag right now. My next video, I'll make sure I got some in there for you.
That stuff there I hate. Now the Nylog, I don't have a problem with it, other than the Nylog will mislead you to make you think you have a leak because all the dirt sticks to it. I mean, that's the only thing that sucks. Flip A was asking about target superheats on by low temp application. If you're talking about freezers, on average, I shoot for somewhere between 6 and 8, somewhere in that ballpark. What about you, Dave?
I got some of the leak lock thread compound too, the white stuff. I forget the number on it.
Yeah, I got that 9 something or 6 something.
Yeah, that does work better than leak lock. That stuff's good. It's just expensive, and I'm a cheap ass, so I always buy leak lock.
Company provides that for me. That's the only thing nice. Did you hear me on Felipe there? He wants to know your target superheats for low temp.
I try to shoot for around 6 or 8, 6 to 8.
Okay. Yeah.
For a freezer. 6 is ideal if you can get 6.
If it'll hold steady for you. It never fails. I go a little too far and then she wants to swing.
Bear Down's got it right there. 6 to 8 on low temp, 8 to 10 medium temp. That worked. I'm so old school. We used to do like 12 degrees superheat on medium temp, but the coil manufacturers want 10. So, yep. Bear Down's gotten to a science.
And like I showed in that one video of mine, I mean, it's right in the book. And it's like, oh, check that out. I didn't know that was in here. So
the Family Sanchez, he's using the Loctite refrigerant sealant. Yep, that stuff's good. I have that and the leak lock still, and I have Nylog too.
And that was one of the things that kept jumping on Jim, because Jim would sit there and use Teflon tape and the blue leak lock and combine them together. And that just, everybody was flipping the hell out. And it's like, I've had times where I've done plumbing, like when I do a plumbing fitting, a male fitting into a female, I use a monster blue tape, and then I use regular pipe dope and then screw them together. I've not had a leak yet, or I'll do that on a boiler, but yet I've used just tape and I've had problems. I've used just pipe dope before and I've had problems. So, I mean,
Grindstone's asking a good one. He's all, do you use midpoint or dew point on Glide refrigerants? Well, you're going to use your bubble point, right, for your subcooling, and you're going to use your dew point for your superheat. So that's how you want to approach your blends.
Yep. And then
that'd be the easiest way to explain it.
Yeah, and when I think of it, which one do you use for subcooling? Bubble. Think of it. Bubbles are going to be at the top, and that's going to be your high side. And then dew, it's going to be low, so that's going to be your low side. So that's the easy way I learned how to remember. I try to use associations like that. HVAC residential basics. What do you use DTD to check charge? DTD. You have any idea on that, Dave?
I don't know that acronym.
I don't know if that's delta T or discharge to discharge, or go a little more into. Tell me what you're meaning there. Residential basics. Go a little further into it for me. That
Stone says superheat is what I was referring to. So superheat, you want to use your dew point on the chart. So I probably have a pressure temperature chart I could stick on the camera, but you'll have on the pressure temperature chart, you'll have the dew point and the bubble point. Am I on there? One will be for each temperature.
Okay.
On your PT chart.
I'm sorry. Chris was saying designed TD, temperature difference. And see, for me, I don't know a lot of times what the coil's rated for, but usually it's either 15 or 20 on average. And I've never have quite understood that, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm assuming they're talking about in versus out, because whenever I check discharge air versus my return air, it's never 15. I'm lucky if it's probably 5 or 7. So I've always kind of wondered about that. So I'm assuming, I don't know if they're doing air discharge or if they're talking actual temperature of the refrigerant after the distributor tube and then coming out of the suction, onto the suction side where your bulb's at. that there you might actually have the difference that they're talking about.
Hey, Rick, let me ask you this question. So out here in California for the residential air conditioning, there's a lot of track homes put in where it's hot. And I would always find the return air in the duct sizing just to be way too small for the units everywhere I'd go. Is it the same out like that in Ohio also?
Yeah, I mean, what you do is you got a lot of people that are wanting to do it the easy way and they'll use flex duct. So in flex
that's how it is
duct,
out here.
which, down in Florida and stuff, I mean, you see that a lot too because it's insulated and then all the crap's in the attic or, if they even have a crawl possibly. So I understand why they're doing it, but generally you got to upsize it most of the time. Derek was asking a little something. Some guys say pulling the vacuum too fast will freeze the moisture in the system. From what Jim's told me, that it'll only do that if it's standing water in the system. Jim's talked about, and I'm talking about Jim Bergman. He says there's a couple good books out there that are from like the 40s or 50s on this, and we've just kind of lost our way and kind of forgot, far as like the basics. I mean, like we're all making this big deal about, yeah. So it's like, from what I'm told, I'm going off what Jim says because Jim seems to know a lot more than me when it comes to the vacuum and stuff. I mean, the guy's brilliant on that stuff. So, I mean, he's saying that
if you're not using Measure Quick, you're way behind. What's so cool about that app is you can have field piece probes like I have and testo probes and use it all on the same app. That thing is amazing.
Vlogger there is asking about Dr. Zorloff there. He had his wife on there. It's kind of like mine sitting here beside me, kind of helping out with things.
Dude, he had good videos, dude. Like he would have like skits and stuff.
Yeah. And he seems like a really nice guy too. And that's what I kind of like about him. I mean, he just seems like
he's out in Florida somewhere, right?
I'm not sure. And then there's the other guy.
I remember Eamon HVAC. I don't know what happened to Eamon. Wow, that goes way back. I remember him. He was like in New York City or somewhere.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Not much prime resi, undersized.
Great furnace man. Now, yeah, and he's pretty scientific about stuff too. And I've thought about that as far as if I can't find anything to do, maybe go back through a lot of the basics, measuring across the circuit versus, getting your voltage drops, stuff like that, and different ways to kind of point out some little tricks here and there, or just kind of going back to the basics. Because, I mean, a lot of people don't go to school. Some of them may just learn it in the field. I mean, like some of our best guys from where I was at before, they didn't go to school. They started out as installers. And then after maybe 5 to 10 years of install, they ended up getting into service because they were pretty well tore down. Their bodies are...
Grindstone. Yeah. There you go. Okay. Yeah. Because of the Measure Quick. All right. That makes sense. Very good. Very good. Very good.
Yeah. Johnny Fair, sulfur water up there. Yeah. If the sulfur water's high enough content, it'll definitely turn the copper black. And then for some reason, it will attack the braze joints, but doesn't seem to affect the silver solder joints. So when I first started, all the guys pretty much used Stay Bright, which was the high silver content soft solder. And even though everybody bitched about it, that stuff usually did a pretty good job. And if you prepped your material right, but those weren't very susceptible to the sulfur water and stuff. But luckily with the aluminum coils, that's taken care of a lot of it. But that definitely will happen with sulfur water. I don't usually say a lot about it just because I kind of wondered how many people really know what I'm talking about. Play me a song, Dave.
Rick, what are you doing? Oh, Rick, what did you say?
Home on the range.
Anybody want to take my project? Got 4 drying rooms for a sausage factory. I'll pass.
Oh, great.
I'll pass.
All right, guys. We're coming in absolutely. We're an hour and 38. We'll be back again sometime. I do appreciate you coming in here, Dave. You made it very enjoyable, just like you always do on your videos. Just keep making the great videos, man. Keep positive like you do. Party on Wayne type thing.
I got this TXV. I need to change on this process chiller at this place that makes iced coffee, but they're closed down, dude. I was hoping I could get in there, but they're all shut down because of the coronavirus thing. But man, hopefully I can get a good little video of it. So we'll see.
That'd be awesome. I think people would like to see stuff that they don't get to see every day. I think it makes it interesting.
Thanks, Juan Carlos. Appreciate you too, man. Thank you very much.
Yep. And I appreciate all my followers too. I mean, so I know y'all came to see Dave. So we hit some decent numbers. We got up to almost 100 people. We actually had a little bit over 100, which is awesome. I appreciate everyone taking the time to come in here and view the video and stuff. I try to make them enjoyable. By all means, check out Dave's channel. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. Don't forget, just subscribing is part of the battle. Make sure you're clicking that bell, because that bell is going to send you the alert when we release the videos. That's how you're going to know that things happen, because about only 40% of the people actually subscribe, but we see the statistics in there of how we're actually getting our views and stuff, and generally only about 30% of mine are just from people scrolling through and finding us. So, you know, by all means, click that bell. That helps out a lot, and it helps drive us to keep on going. You know, that's just I love the feedback. I know you like what kind of keeps driving you to keep going, Dave, on the videos.
Oh, man, I learned so much from the comments. Like you said earlier, dude, people will call you on your baloney, and a lot of guys have more experience than me that comment on the channel. So I read all the comments, try and respond, and I learn a ton from the comments. So keep commenting, because I probably learn more from you guys than you do from my videos. And I really mean that.
Yeah, I had one guy, I don't know if he was an engineer or what, but on the headmaster control one I did, the dude nailed it. And it's like I cut some things out of it, and he like boom, 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 boom. I mean, that dude must know engineering of some sort. But he's like, this here happened, and for that to happen is this, and then this would happen like this. So with this, and it's like, dude, how did you know this? That's like, so I mean, yeah, it's pretty interesting, and it's like, okay, in hindsight's 2020. When we get there, we're like figuring out it's either low on charge, low pressure switch isn't making, the high pressure switch has gone bad, the fan motor's out. It's the same crap every time type deal. And about the time you think you got it figured out, that's when the call goes to hell and everything ends up going the other direction. So anyhow, yeah.
It's like my ongoing theme, you know, multiple offenders. You got to take the time and look at the whole system. And I know it's super hard for you guys out there when you got 4 in the hole and the boss is on you to get here, get there, and get everywhere. But if you don't stick around, especially on ice makers, if you don't take the time and stay there and check the whole system out and at least watch 2 or 3 batches, which on a HVAC, that's going to be over an hour and a half. It's really hard to do. But
I take 3 hours on mine.
Yeah, you'll catch yourself from having a recall, man. But dude, they're all multiple offenders, every unit, every single one of them.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is we're like detectives. We got to go in there and question the victim, which is the owner, find out how often it has happened, when it happened, you know, does it happen every time, you know, kind of going through there and questioning them and stuff. I'm going to try to come up with a tagline like the big picture diagnosis. I need to come up with something that's like a detective, because that's always been the way I've kind of described it, is you got to go in there and get all the clues to find out who did the dirty deed that murdered the compressor or the TXV or whatever it is that ended up going bad.
Oh, yeah. Well, thanks for having me on, Rick, man. Have a great night.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you coming in. Guys, like I said, make sure you hit the thumbs up button down there. Check out both channels. Make sure you're hitting the subscribe and the bell. And until next time, guys, we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Toodles.